Hey, it's the Reckless Retiree here, and I'm coming up with a way to use junk to make some gas. All right, so we have a bed, I think I mentioned this in the previous video, that has a angle adjustment on it, and that broke, and so we were under warranty. We got a new rig. So I took the old rig apart and got this DC motor. "50 watt, 24 volt, 3,150 RPM per minute." Well, that's what RPM means. Motor. So I wondered if I hooked it up to my drill and spun it with my cordless drill, if I would get, and hooked it up to my cell, it's electrolysis cell, if I would get gas. And those three bubbles right there are made from that process. Let's see if they're still explosive. No, they're not, but we'll make some fresh ones. So I'm running it with the drill. Okay, now I'll take this torch and light those, and you heard them pop. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? By running a motor with a drill, I was making around 9 volts. I measured it with meter. I should get the meter and show you that. So my thinking was then, here's an old fan. If I either run it with the wind and take power off it, or take the blades off it and put it on this motor, then I can have it as a windmill that's making power, and then I'm converting it into gas. Then if I rig it up to my cell where my tank where I'm storing the gas, now suddenly I can be storing gas from the wind that could be used for heat or maybe cooking, just by using junk that I have around the house. Okay, so here's the same rig, but now I have it hooked up to this meter. And you can see I'm making a consistent 8.7 volts by running at this speed, whatever it is. I don't know what the RPMs on this drill are. But this motor can take, obviously, up to 3,150 if I could spin it that fast. Probably make more voltage, maybe make 24 volts. Probably make 24 volts. You need to figure out a way to run it at 3,150 RPM. But anyway, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Take junk. I mean, we would have just thrown this stuff away because we got replacements. And I chose instead to take it apart and got these really nice motors. I got 2 of them. They work fine. I've run them backwards, obviously. In other words, I put 24 volts to them with my power supply and run them. That's how I knew they were good. So if push comes to shove, I could maybe make those into a windmills, and make some gas with them. I could do something with. Just thought I'd share that. So I tried to come up with something that was at a higher RPM than a drill. Oh my gosh. 69 volts. I'm not sure what RPM I'm running at. lower setting, 50 volts. All right, now I'll hook it up to my electrolysis cell, see what happens. Okay, there I'm running it at a higher RPM on my Dremel. And I think the max is 15,000. That doesn't smell too good. I think I'm overheating the Dremel. But look at all the gas I'm making. So that's pretty cool. Now I'll put my headphones on and I'll all right, so that proved that it was HHO. Okay, I got this box fan turning in the wind. Should be interesting to see if it will create a voltage. It may not come out the AC. I may have to, I don't know if it goes through electronics and it changes the AC to DC so it'll run the fan. So therefore, if I read the plug, if it'll not read because it needs to be, directly off the motor. But I'll see. All right, so you can see here that at the low setting, it goes from 0 to 400 RPM. At the high setting, it goes from 0 to 1600 RPM. So that's what I was getting an 8.7 volts with. Now over here, I have the Dremel, and it's very hot. I should never run it like I did. It's too much load for it, I guess. And over here, you'll see it goes from 5,000 to 35,000 RPM. So, is it 5,000 again? Let me double check that. Yeah. So that means the low setting, there's like 5 settings. And I probably had it on 8 when I was running it a minute ago and I was making so much gas. So that pretty much tells me that all I have to do is turn it at a high rate of speed and I can make some voltage, which I can make gas with. I mean, you could also charge a battery with it if you perfect it. But the problem is with charging the batteries, you want to have a consistent RPM, which if you were to hook it up to a fan blade, and blow it in the wind, you're not going to get a consistent RPM, so you got to have all that electronics to deal with that. But if I'm just directly making whatever gas I can make and then collecting that, then that would work.